There's an incredible spot just outside Pattaya, very well known to aficionados of car racing. Go-kart racing too, just over there. It's called the Bira Circuit, named for a prince, a member of the royal family who decades ago made his name on the international car racing circuit. His name is celebrated here, the Bira Circuit. And today they have club racing, and needless to say, in amongst all the noise and the smoke, there are lots of young Thai men racing their cars. And one older gentleman, well known in Pattaya, Dr Iain Corness. Well, here at the race circuit there's no shortage of young men racing cars, and then there's Dr Iain Corness representing the rest of us who are somewhat more mature. You've been here for years, haven't you?
Rod, welcome to the circuit.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, I've been hanging around motorsport as a competitor for, this is my 50th year. So, I mean, really, motorsport, unfortunately, is 90% frustration and 10% fun. But the fun is so good, you come back for more.
Ah, that's what it is. You've often written about it. You're always driving cars. You love cars.
Yes.
But then you love most things, don't you, including your profession, which really is a doctor.
Yes, yes. I am a doctor, and I've been a doctor for about the same length of time as I've been a racer. I don't believe that the two impinge on each other. It's just both part of me.
Yeah,
like
you
my
have a
hat.
lot of interests.
Like my hat.
Yes.
That's part of me as well.
When did the hat become a part of you, by the way?
Right at the very start. I'd come back from Spain with a hat, and I wore that. And then it wore out, and a friend of mine was going to Spain, and he said, "I'll bring you a hat back." I said, "Great," and this is it.
Now, when you're actually driving, that's not on as well.
No.
Just checking.
I wear a very expensive Bell helmet. Well, these days, I like to race something of similar era to myself. And I raced Mark I Ford Escorts when they were new, and I'm still racing the rotten things 40 years later. I started racing in Australia. I bought an MGA, a second-hand MGA on hire purchase, having conned a bank manager into giving me money for textbooks.
The MGA was irresistible, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
And then you thought, I'd better race this nice car.
No, this was the whole idea right from the very start. Right from the very start. From there, I got a contract with British Leyland when there was a British Leyland, God bless her, and all who sank in her. And I raced MGs for the factory. And I built one which Leyland said was the fastest MGB in the world. Now that's a bit hard to sort of prove or disprove, but it was quicker than the 2-litre Auto Delta Alfa Romeos. It was as quick as the 289 Mustangs. You know, it was a very quick motor car.
So you'd moved up to the MGB, you were saying?
Yes.
By this time you were really hooked, obviously.
I was really hooked when I was 11.
Well, what is it about being a boy racer, do you think?
I honestly don't know, Rod. But I saw my first motor race when I was 11, and my father regretted it thereafter, because that's all I wanted to do.
Has it brought rewards?
Yeah. Yes, I broke a finger. You get money. When I was driving for Leyland, you signed a big contract, and I got paid starting fees and all this sort of thing. But I mean, these days you get a plastic egg cup which is sort of silver plated. Yeah. I don't bother picking them up half the time.
And during those Australian years, would you then leave the track and the next day be back in the surgery?
Absolutely, absolutely. When I was racing in Sydney, for example, and I lived in Brisbane, when I was racing in Sydney, we would leave Sydney at the last race was over, and drive through the night back to Brisbane, so that 1,000 kilometres, so that I was there to open the surgery on Monday morning. The first patient got short shrift, I tell you. I had sincerely hoped that my now 10-year-old son would be bursting to drive it. No, he's more interested in playing with his iPad.
Oh, well, isn't everyone, yeah?
Yes, yeah. And my daughter, well, she's 11, and she's going on 17, and it's makeup and lipstick and all that sort of thing. Not in the slightest interested in getting her hands dirty.
And this wonderful little car, where did you come across it in the first place?
Okay, not far away from here. There's a young fellow had 2 or 3 sitting in his yard, and I sort of got to know him and said, "What's happening with it?" And he said, "Well, it's for sale." So I approached a sponsor and said, "Yeah, I'd like to go racing with this car. Are you interested?" And he said, "Yeah, all right, let's do it." And that was probably 5 years ago now. And we've continually upgraded it, and we've changed the engine, and so it goes on.
But it is a little old car still, isn't it?
Oh yes, yes, it's it's a 40, how old is it now? 42 years old. This shows in the bodywork starts to crack and things like this, but we repair it. Everything's repairable, including the driver.
And do the sponsors still love you?
Yes.
They dare not go other way. And what kind of team do you need to keep it all on the track?
All right, you need 2 mechanics, because one is not enough. He can't lift things on his own. So you need 2 mechanics, then you need a team manager to make sure that everything's heading in the right direction, and the driver itself. And that's skeleton crew, but it works.
And no one questions the fact that you're getting on a little to be a driver?
Well, you know, I get this, you're still driving at your age, and I say, why not? Is there some rule that says somebody over the age of 70 has to immediately shuffle off to a wooden box? No. All right, some days I know that I'm not 50, but okay, I can get around, I can do things, I can do everything. I still drive my race car, I love it. What more should I expect at my age?
74, I hear.
117.4? That's not bad.
No, 74. They say you're 74.
Yes, I am.
And that hat hides a multitude of sins, doesn't it? What put it on?
Yes. I don't know where the hair went to, but it definitely disappeared.
As it will again today in that car race.
Right.
That's the one.
That's the one.
It's terrific. It's part of the look.